My grandmother worked in the bomb project, and she was from Oklahoma. She is buried in Muskogee, Oklahoma, in fact. And she raised four daughters, and when they all went off to college, her husband was a builder, and he had died in an accident. And she worked at the it was the Army base there. It's the Army Air Force Base in Muskogee called, it was Camp Gruber or something like that. And she met General Grove, and he realized that she was really good mathematically. And so when they started rounding people up to work in Los Alamos, she was one of the ones who went. And that would have been, I think, in 1943 or 44. One of the things that they did was when things got stressful, they would go stay at Ghost Ranch, usually under an assumed name because of the top secret stuff. And I know she was talking about how she was talking to Dr. Oppenheimer, and he introduced her to Georgia O'Keeffe, who didn't seem to want to talk. But he said, later they sort of became friends. And she wasn't much interested, my grandmother, in modern art. She loved Indian things, but Georgia introduced her to a couple of different kinds of pottery, Indian pottery. So she bought a lot of that. The black stuff. So she had a bunch of that. But Georgia evidently knew someone who did that. I guess it was, it was sort of awkward in that, it was obvious that there were all these strange people there who had to be secret, but they still, bumped into all the locals. I know she went to George's house because she described it to me. Yeah, no, Abiquiu. Later, she told me that later she'd bought a house up in the mountains and she'd been there, and she was amazed to find that she had a lot of modern appliances and really good table settings. And she said, and she also had a bomb shelter. So, does she have a bomb shelter? Like it was in the mountainside or something where because she lived so close to Los Alamos, she had that built. That's what she said. So now, again, whether it's true or not, my grandmother didn't know much about her personal life other than she said there'd been a man there somewhere. But she said, she said she had really good taste, she thought, but she was really surprised about some of the modern things that she had in her house. And evidently they bumped into each other from time to time. She said Georgia didn't talk to people much, and like I said, she was imperious. My grandmother was also imperious, so they probably got along that way. So now, one other thing my grandmother said was she thought Georgia had done one artwork that was about seeing a bomb test. I mean, it was very abstract, but she said, I just looked at it and said I knew that she knew that she'd seen, they couldn't not see the test. So, big flash of light. You could always tell with my grandmother if she admired someone or not. So she admired the Oppenheimers a great deal, and she didn't like Dr. Teller. And she evidently admired Georgia quite a bit. So.